Hello friends, we are here today in Revelation chapter 5. So in the very beginning of this chapter, it says that there is a scroll. The one sitting on the throne, God, holds up a scroll. And it says the scroll has writing on the inside and on the outside. Now this is significant because it's rare. It's not unheard of. You know, back then we can look at scrolls and people don't tend to write on the inside and the outside. It was explained to me by Dr. D.A. Carson that the reason that something would have writing on the inside and on the outside is because either the person is very poor and they don't have enough parchment, you know, they don't have enough papyrus to write down everything that they want, so they write down on the back and the front. This is not the case with God. God is not so poor. God is not so poor that he doesn't have enough papyrus. The second case that we see writing on the back and the front when we look at old scrolls and in archaeology is if it is a legal document. And the reason they would do it then is because they want the fullness of the document to be on one scroll. So that is the case here. This is a legal document. It's written on the back and the front because it's the fullness of the redemption of man. It is a legal document saying this is what's going to happen. And so a mighty angel says, who is worthy of opening the scroll? And he asks all of creation. He asks all humans and all angels and everybody alive and everybody who's passed away. Everybody. Who is worthy to open the scroll? And in all of creation, nobody was worthy to open the scroll. What's maybe the most significant thing to me in this chapter was what John, the writer of the book, did next. It said he started to weep. He's crying. Now, why is he crying? It's not because he was very curious to see what was in the scroll. And he was just like, oh man, I'll never get to see what was in the scroll. You know, this is the end of the story. He's crying because he knows that in the scroll is God's plan for redeeming the world. In the scroll is how God is going to make everything right again. And so if nobody is able to open the scroll, that means that there is no redemption for the world. That there's no way that things are going to be made right again. And so he starts to weep. And I suppose if you, in this moment, were able to understand all of that, you would weep also. But then one of the elders speaks to John and says, stop crying. He says, the Lion of Judah can open the scroll. Now this is clearly Jesus. You know, he is the descendant of David. He's the king, the prophesied king. And it also calls him, in this chapter, the root of David. Later on in this book, it will also call him the shoot of David. Now, a root and a shoot are two opposite things. One goes down and one goes up. Essentially, what this is saying is Jesus was the king before David. He was the king of God's people before David, and he was the king after David. He is both the root and the shoot. So he looks, and you're looking to see a lion, and you see a lamb that was slain. Now this isn't two separate things. The lion is the lamb. They're the same. The book of Revelation doesn't have any problem mixing its metaphors. The root and the shoot are the same thing. The lion and the lamb are the same thing, because he's both the king and he's the sacrifice. So the lamb comes and it is able to open up the seals of the scroll. All of the elders and all the people for the rest of the chapter are praising Jesus, saying, you are the one who was slain. You were able to open up the seal. You know, they have a bowl of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. And everybody is bowing down and they're singing a song. Singing a song to Jesus, saying that he is the worthy one. And it's angelic beings and it's saints. And you know, it keeps on going, just worshiping Jesus for being the one who is able to open up the scroll. It's such a beautiful chapter. And that's the way that our lives should be. Just worshiping God constantly for being the one who has redeemed not just you if you believe in him, but for redeeming creation, for redeeming everything, for making us to begin with. So that is Revelation chapter 5. Have a great day. Bye.